Do-rag wisdom, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Earth Day Y2K 20.07.23. The music in the background is Ennio Morricone for his movie Fistful of Dollars. The Trump creep is sending unmarked federal troops to Portland and wants to send them to other liberal cities as well. These stormtroopers, these Trump troopers, are approaching people, placing them in unmarked vans, kidnapping them, violating their rights. None of these stormtrooping fascists have any, once again, identifying marks on their uniforms. No names, no badge numbers. We don't need no effing badges. It's Treasurer of Sierra Madre, right? Trump should be impeached again and again and again and again. I'm about to give you some advice that could get you arrested or even murdered. I am sorry about this, but enough is enough with Trump and his fascist enablers. Trump, an actual U.S. president, is all about destroying everything our country stands for. Right out of a movie. I am going on 70 next month. And even though I recognize that our country has a terrible dark side, I still believe that our Constitution represents, quote-unquote, the better angels of our natures, as Lincoln said. Sure, the Constitution reflected the times of its origin, favoring white males, especially wealthy white males. But our Constitution is an evolving document, evolves, in spite of what the fundamentalist constitutional originalists say. If our country survives, this experiment that our flawed founders established will survive. And it will evolve further from a two-party republic to something even better. Never in all my life, ladies and gentlemen and friends, have I been more afraid for the survival of the USA as I've always known it, with all its dark sides and imperfections. I've always grown up living, though, with the threat of political extremism, and always feared that the frothing at the mouth creep screaming in the back of the auditorium about like nuking the commies would come closer and closer to becoming the leader of our country. And here it is, Soylent Green / 1984 time. Science fiction horror, madness, feasting on human beings. Here is the presidency of horror, the reign of acid called the Trump. Latest death toll, 145,000 plus because of the Trump coronavirus 19 non-response. If you can't get rid of the people against you using the usual levers of government or the vote or whatever, why not use a pandemic to do it? Remember that Trump bastard's inauguration speech about American carnage? That was a promise for the future, not an indictment of the past. So the advice I'm about to give should be taken with a grain of salt. Do not want anyone to be hurt. After 70 years on this gorgeous but sad planet, I know what fascism looks like. I know what racism looks like. I know what totalitarianism looks like. because I've lived in a country that is supposed to be at war with it. If there is a crime or violence in a city, it's up to the local authorities to deal with it. If the violence is state-wise, then you have the state authorities. But never, ever should federal police, soldiers, or otherwise be sent into a city or state to quell anything but their thirst in the local tavern. And especially localities should never have to deal with an invasion of armed, unidentified fascist creeps dressed in camo with no badges, with no kind of identification, names whatsoever. Creeps who kidnap citizens right off the street, ushers them into unmarked vans, terrorizes them, puts them in a jail cell, later releasing them. This is the United States of America, ladies and gentlemen. This is not China, North Korea, not Turkey, not Iran, and not Russia. A secret police is never allowed here. Ever! If approached by any of these fascist Trump troopers and you're alone, then you are shit out of luck. But while attending a protest, make sure you have a group with you. If these Trump troopers approach you, make sure that you all link together tightly. I'm trying to make this as peaceful for you as possible. Demand identification. Keep yelling, "Who are you? Who are you? Who are you?" If it is not given, resist. And this is where I don't want any of you to get into trouble. I don't want any of you to get hurt, killed, crippled, shot in the face, have your hand broken, have anything broken. But we're at civil war now, folks. The President of the United States is waging war on us. So if the identification of these fascist bastards aren't given to you, resist, kick, claw, punch, spit at, urinate on, defecate on, throw garbage at, throw garbage cans at. These unconstitutional, illegal Trump stormtroopers who represent a violation of everything our country stands for. Also make sure, and this is vitally important, that you record everything. When approached by these Trump troopers, get out those smartphones and start recording every goddess damn thing. Almost everyone has a camera. And where there is an internet where you can put your work out for everybody to see, immediately posted, please make sure, again, you have those smartphones and the dumb phones up, but the smartphones ready. Because we're going to need a record of this for history. Because we're being threatened by this maggot in the White House. Please make sure you are wearing protective clothing, helmets, and face masks, or have them available in some kind of a backpack or something. Find an area in the protest where a large group can make a stand. Have whatever you need to attack these creeps in return. I understand that the best kind of protest, once again, is a peaceful one. But these violent Trump troops won't abide by them. Punch them in the face! Slam their heads into the police car! Because while peaceful protesters are doing a sit-in, for example, these fascist creeps will throw tear gas at them and attack with truncheons. Bam, bam, bam! President of the United States, right behind them! Trump is doing this because he hopes that people will get angry. And then the bloody riots that follow can be recorded by them, used by his campaign to make it look like the country is being overrun by anarchists. We gotta record too. Everything. Pretend like you're in Cloverfield. Or in the Blair Witch Project, whatever movie we're in right now. Our country is being overrun, all right. And it certainly is not for the love of our Constitution or for the love of our freedoms. But we are now living in a time of pandemic. We're living with a treasonous president who wants his opponents dead and hopes the virus accomplishes just that. We have a sociopath in charge who cares only for himself. When approached by these fascist Trump troopers, and if you are in a group, the larger the better. Resist with all your being against the potential downfall of our country by the likes of a Trump or the likes of any stinking, tin pot murdering dictator. I want none of us to get hurt during protests, but President Hitler Trump told his supporters, as you remember, punched them in the face, and a few people were hurt by his gang, his mob. This is not the America I grew up in. This is something different, something horrific. The Second Amendment states that in order to have a well-organized, legal state militia, the possession of firearms will not be prohibited. Trump is a treasonous sociopath, and I repeat, who has already murdered over 145,000 Americans. There is word that he may not leave office if he loses. I suggest that all of us, absolutely and legally, I will not purchase a firearm unless I'm background checked. I'm not going to any place that doesn't background check. And this is for the protection of our homes. And just in case the governor of our state would need us for a well-organized, legal, civilian state militia in addition to our state National Guard. The founders of our country, still healing from the wounds in their fight for freedom, made sure that our Constitution contained wording designed to protect us just in case totalitarianism raised its hideous head again. This is the essence of the Second Amendment. That hideous head has in fact risen to threaten our 140-year-plus experiment in democracy. The threat again in the form of Trump and his fascist Trump troopers. The time to form those well-regulated, legal state militias, according to the rule of our Constitution, has arrived. Many of us are going to get hurt in the second Civil War battle if Trump and his troopers are allowed another term.